Hello everybody! Today I'm going to be unboxing another Neo, putting a gimbal guard bumper on it, and then putting some master air screw components on there. So I am going to weigh the device after we get things going, but the issue for our client that's receiving this is the fact that they cannot connect because it does not have Android capabilities anymore. So we're gonna connect on behalf of the customer and then rebox. So without further ado, I'm gonna take my knife, and at this point in time, we're gonna set up, and as mentioned, set up, reseal. And the goal is to have this ready for the customer when they take it out of the box. So there's no waiting around, there's no dilly-dallying, it's ready to go. So that is a very important service, whether it be an Autel, whether it be a small DJI, it doesn't matter your needs, we're here to help you. And this is one of the services that we can offer. So I'm removing the security tamp sticker ever so slightly. As you can see, I was able to remove that. And I'm going to put it on my board. And then I'm also going to grab the board sticker. We have our security stickers, and I did indeed log the numbers. So now, this is the Neo Fly More combo. So this offers a few more features. I also brought the Dymo labeler out to properly label some of these components. So as mentioned before, this is going to be going back into the box once everything is firmware updated. We got the gimbal guard installed. We're going to install these air screws, and then we're going to get it activated because this customer does not have an Android phone. So we're even going to keep the little pouch of silica in there, and we're literally going to do the least amount of damage to the unboxing process because we will allow the customer to do this. So I'm going to keep all the main cords in there, everything like that, as you can see. However, I am going to take the batteries out and give them a first initial charge. So I'm going to just slowly peel this sticky portion away. And as I do so, I'm going to extract the batteries and the charger. But then to keep the sticky portion intact, I'm just going to go right back on the bag, guys. Okay. Well, it looks like we only have one charging opportunity, which is going to be USB-C. So I'm going to go and grab a flash charger on your back. Okay. Now what we're going to do is we're going to hook in the battery pack. And then we're going to move the box over. Looks like we have the manual, an extra set of factory props, a micro USB-C to micro USB-C for charging. So I'm going to set this off to the side. Now I'm going to do on the charger, we're going to state that full charge within 90 minutes, approximately. So I put 30-minute charge per battery. Okay. Then we are going to identify the asset. And it doesn't matter if you're buying a $500 drone or a $5,000 drone. This process is all going to be relative to setting up and then creating your asset ID tags depending on how your company wants to go about it. If you provide us your asset ID tags ahead of time, then we can just go ahead and do that. We can also applicate with etching. Dymo is the easiest and most cost effective. So that works quite well. There are some surfaces that have different porosities to them, so they don't adhere as good. However, I've had pretty good success with DJI products. So we have named the charger, and we have identified how long it takes to actually charge. In theory, you can use this as a power bank and activate your power button and pull power out of here, but we are actually adding power. So we have, as mentioned before, our factory bags. We have our rubbish off to the side. We are working on a mat. This is a cutting mat. However, any sort of mat that doesn't have any grip type surface, picture anything but a mouse pad. That will work very well for this. The pad is clean, then you can apply your stickers and have even less issues. So I am now taking the drone out of the bag. So, as you may or may not be aware, the drone can 100% fully function with the gimbal guard on. The reason why people don't typically fly with the gimbal guard is because it creates dark spots, and this package already has a little bit of issue with that. So with that being said, if you look here, it says charge to activate the battery before first time use. So we're gonna take this battery off, and we're literally just gonna press the button on the back here. Battery's free, as you can see the bottom. So we're gonna take this battery, and since it's out, we're gonna label it. So we're going to name the batteries after the identifier, and then the 1, 2, and 3, so that when you are hot swapping or have issues, you can identify that you're coming from battery 1, you're coming from battery 2, you're coming from battery 3, etc. These are smaller batteries, however, depending on the conditions. So this will be flying at a space that has basically zero wind at all times. However, we need to be fully ensured that if there's any risk of this going down, that we are fully encased and we are protecting the precursor rather than trying to work with the issue if there was one after the fact. So We don't have our bumper guards yet today, but we will have those for installation on this before it goes out into the field. And they're actually going to be the foam guarded ones that are more aggressive. So just in case bumping in, safety concerns, we'll have that covered. So we have the batteries done up. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to start cutting out this. So we have our battery name, and then we got our aircraft name. I guess this isn't an aircraft, it is a small drone because it weighs 135 grams without alterations. As I have the scale in here, after we add the gimbal bumper, we are indeed gonna do a weight tally, and then after we add our foam guard, we're going to weight it again to ensure that we're within guidelines in under 120 or 249 grams. Sorry about that. I'm trying to do a couple things at once and line things up. So funny enough, this quadcopter slash drone slash mini drone slash super gangster little device is called the Flying Pizza. So Flying Pizza has 3 batteries. It consists of 1 drone, a Neo, so I wasn't able to stick this 100% the first time. I am a stickler for detail, so I will actually reprint this just because that corner would look terrible. Some rubbish, put it in the rubbish pile. The reason I have a rubbish pile and not go straight to the bin, as soon as you throw something important away to the bin, you'll understand why I have a pile. At the end of the project, when everything's done, I'll then take the pile to the trash. I learned this in watchmaking and jewelry processing. I dealt with a lot of scrap and still do on occasion, and that's one of the main things that covers all the bases. So here you can see we've identified the battery. This is the battery that came in the quadcopter from the factory. However, it's most likely going to have a diminished battery. Regardless, we're going to charge it up to 100% beforehand, so we have that in the hopper. So why we do that, add the rubbish pile. I'm going to cut out the other 2 batteries, and then I'm going to set these off to the side. When I say cut out the batteries, one's identified as 1, 2, and battery 3. So they are on the charging block right now, so I'm not going to do that. All right, so now what we're going to do, we could start, in essence, doing the update and get it acclimated. However, we are going to wait and follow the instructions, and then I will also be adding more labels to the drone. So the main thing is, if we use okay, so the big thing about reading instructions is it's important. And I know it sounds silly, even for me, but the reason why you read instructions is everything has a purpose. And I'll go back to the Phantom prop guards. What happened with DJI's Phantom series of quadcopters, Phantom, Phantom 2, Phantom Vision Plus, Phantom 3, and then it was indeed corrected on Phantom 4. But what in essence happened was you were given a specific set of screws for the factory protection on the prop guards. And a lot of people, what happened is, as soon as they felt comfortable flying without prop guards, they then got rid of the prop guards. Well, that's fine and dandy, but what happened was they never kept the original factory screws. And so when they didn't do that, in essence what happened was they put the longer screws back in, not knowing that we're talking millimeters, but that's all the difference that made the motors seize up. So they were literally rubbing on the bottom of the motors. So the reason I like this protection system was the fact that you could still clip around the gimbal guard and get your fingers around that no problem, but it was an actual piece of aluminum. So this is a pretty strong body, and it doesn't inflict with any of the footage or camera sensors down here. So that's why I'm kind of eager to run this, and I think the customer will be very happy with the look of it. One thing is that we couldn't do is we couldn't change the shell color in time. Yes, it is possible to get done. There's multiple ways to do it. However, within the time frames that this was needed in, we didn't have the extra half day or day to do the strip and then get it off to paint. So there's multiple different ways to go about changing the color of these. You can dye the plastic, you can hydro dip, you can paint. The biggest thing is you just have to strip the whole drone. So it's not like you can mask over the gimbal, the controls. You really need to take the drone down to its base and then build it back up. So in theory, this would be a different color for the customer. However, we're under some tight guidelines. So now the protection apparatus is installed. It's tight, feels good. Now let's try to remove the gimbal guard. No problem removing the gimbal guard here. And mind you, it can fly with the gimbal guard, but you're gonna get best quality footage without this thing on there. And it's just an obstruction at the end of the day. So I really like this bumper because when I'm flying and I are in some tighter areas, I may have issues with getting within proximity of the gimbal against maybe some inspection walls or cracks, and this allows me to utilize the Neo without the gimbal protector, but still feeling protected on this rounded bar here, and nothing's gonna really get at this. And to be honest, I would say from a weight aspect of bringing it on board, this is a fairly lightweight value add opportunity. And we will get the weight in here shortly. Right now what I'm doing is I'm actually going to get a new bag, and then I'm going to put these back in the box for the customer, and then I'm going to break this box down and put it in with the instructions into the factory box. So they did provide us with 2 additional screws for the bumper. However, since I don't want to get that confused at all for the customer, we are not going to provide those. So we're going to throw this away, we're going to throw this away, and we're going to keep the instruction booklet, and then I'm going to trim this up. So. In case you ever need to reference back what things are, that's why I think it's good to do this, because it actually has the part name, everything like that on it. Yes, you can include the manual, but the manual may be ultra generic. Okay. So now we're going to put our factory gimbal screws into this little bag here. And then so we never forget about it in the future, we will get it labeled. So now we have this, we're going to put it in the spare parts here. So in this factory manual, I'll slowly open it up. So I'll let the customer do this unboxing experience for themselves. However, they're going to know that it indeed was access so that I could fix this. And how we're going to show that access is on multiple different ways, and it'll show that with these stickers here. So those stickers have identifying numbers on them that correlate to specific things. So before I brought them over, I did indeed log the numbers. Sorry, this is also going to go in. This was the gimbal guard protector. Okay. Clean up the rubbish. So now with our batteries activated, we are going to take one out. We're going to utilize our labels. I nicked the side, I'm gonna. Okay. So we have this labeled out. We have the Nyquist website. We have modes up here, and we have the power button identified down here. As you can see, we have the batteries listed as well. So now we're going to move the rubbish, and then we'll go into the actual settings and programming. Then we will make sure all the batteries are charged up, put the drone back in its bag. Okay. So now I'm going to go to the DJI Fly app, and that is the app that you cannot download on Android anymore. And it happened sometime this year. DJI is planning to exit the US marketplace, at least with its consumer / other style of drones. I anticipate, I shouldn't say for sure, but I strongly anticipate that that's what's going to happen. They stopped selling into the marketplace, and so a device like this has to be bought on the secondary market. So we have identified the Neo, and it's DJI Neo 64-989. And so they're asking me to press and hold the power button for 3 seconds. Okay. Now it's asking me to connect. So it might have timed out, it might have tripped, we shall see. Okay. I will say, if it doesn't work the first time, try trying again. There we go. So I pressed. I should have just pressed. So that was my fault, guys. But this is a learning experience until you get it down pat. That's why a lot of people just want it ready to go, ready to fly. And that's what we're here to help with. So it does require some updates. So I'm gonna ensure that the album from the factory comes clean, and as it does, we're gonna install new firmware right now, and then we will activate the drone. So once we get the activation sequence done, we'll ensure that the flight modes are within the correct parameters for the customer, such as like the drone, such as the rocket, a lot of different micro functions that are relative to understanding what the user is going to be using this for. If you were going to be using this out in the wilderness or for a traffic inspection, I would completely set it up differently than how I'm going to set this up for enclosed, tight spaces that need good coverage and need specific spotlight and boomerang features that are within specific lengths. So that is what I'll be doing, going through the modes and changing some settings so that the customer can have the best experience literally by pressing the button and going to fly. What's awesome about this quadcopter is you can take it from the back and download all the footage, you can charge it, and you can do this 100% non-app based after I get it fully functioned. So that is one super nice thing about this package and the flip package. And on top of that, they offer intuitive flight modes that you wouldn't get otherwise. There are a couple more modes that you can't get without having the remote, but it's all relative on remote flying. So when I state that, they have a sport mode to this that allows it to fly literally 50% faster. Well, the issue with that is the gimbal stabilization starts to degrade and other proponents to where you can't have the best experience. And that's why DJI designed this for a standardized, I'm gonna say it's between a normal and normal plus cinematic. And it does a nice job doing sweet features that where if you were in sport mode, you'd be driving around it like this rather than having a nicer pan by going slower and at it from a different angle. So as the software flashes on to the device, we're at 95% on the firmware update. So now we're at 100. Now we're gonna connect to the aircraft. We're gonna identify that it's a Neo, and we're gonna identify that we're just gonna be connecting via Wi-Fi right now on the phone. So now we're gonna power on the drone again. The drone, quadcopter, sorry, I interchange these words on a regular basis, but they mean the same thing. So we're going to connect via Wi-Fi to the drone to get it set up. So now you can see the activation sequence is being requested. So I'm going to acknowledge the terms in use after I discuss with the client that they fully have read and understand this. I am then going to update the firmware. I'm not going to be connecting any goggles to this, however I am. Okay. So profile, settings. There's no geo unlocking that needs to get done. Our clear cache is set up correctly. We have, yes, we're gonna want the firmware auto download. Now we're gonna go into device management. Let's go to the device itself. We have registration numbers. Now we're gonna type in the name up here. So this one is, we're gonna call the Flying Pizza. All right, so now that we've named it, if anyone tries to connect via their phone app, it'll pull up as Flying Pizza. So next we're gonna go in and change the Wi-Fi information. Just bear with me. And we're just going to change the Wi-Fi name so that if there's any confusion or if there's a bunch of Neos out there, you won't have to look through and say, hey, I'm Neo 8749. It'll just say Neo 123, or in this case, Flying Pizza. So this is updating the FlySafe data. So when this came out, when they made it, maybe it was made most likely toward the middle to end of last year. They then will give the most updated software on it at that point in time. But in between the time of manufacture and the time of receipt, they may have had multiple updates that create the product better or enhance the current features, whether it be app-based or quadcopter/drone-based. So here it does look like I am able to utilize the quadcopter. Takeoff is indeed permitted. Right now I'm jogging through the functions to ensure that the gimbal works 100% from the factory. And it looks like we have that. And so now what I'm going to be going through is adjusting these settings. And you're like, settings? I didn't even know there was such a thing. Well, sorry about that. I will get back with that. So our follow height, we're gonna want high, and then we're gonna want far. And the reason why on this is, if you have close and near, then the issue is that it doesn't do a good job visually seeing you. So this mode and directional track, the only difference is if you want to film your face and whatever direction you have the drone pointed at when you start it, it will keep that orientation and direction going. However, you need to be warned that it doesn't have the sensors that the other drones have due to its price point and flexibility with its guards. So you need to be mindful of where you're going and then acknowledging that the drone won't hit anything in front of you. So the features that I really like are a feature called Droney. So this is going to be at a 6.6 rise, and why I like this is it's not going to go out 15 foot. It's going to keep a safe distance and film a 10-second video, and then it's going to rise on you as well. So, yep, it's warning you about directional track, and it's trying to give you an explanation of it. I think I briefly touched bases on this. So there is a change setting in here that instead of directional track, we can actually change this to a different mode, and I'll show you that in just a second. So we're going to go over here to settings, we're going to go to custom, and then we're going to change, instead of directional track, we're going to change this to helix. And the reason why we're going to helix is we're going to take the area of interest and spiral up, almost doing a funnel like you'd see in Twister. So at this one, I don't like to go beyond 32 foot. I would prefer to stay in the 13. Knowing where this is going to be used, I'm not going to have this a greater value than 13 just because of potential ceiling heights. If I knew for a fact that this was going to be used in a more open air environment, I would change it to 32 or 65 foot. So now that we have the helix programmed, we have our storage cleaned, we have a total of 22 gigabytes ready to go. And now we're going to go to more settings. It will discuss, do we want stick mode, IMU calibration, compass calibrations, which we will do. This is where you can change the Neo Wi-Fi name. So we're gonna actually finish, so we're gonna call it DJI Flying Neo Flying Pizza. It looks like the name is too long, so we're gonna put Neo dash Flying Pizza. Okay. So I wasn't able to put the flying pizza on there. However, I did change it to our area code, which is 515. So in case there's questions, they'll know what to pull up. So I will make a sticker for that. So on the outside of the box, I'm going to put the DJI Fly app. It's only for iOS only. And then I'm going to put the Wi-Fi name. And it is DJI Neo 0515. Put a 0 in front of our area code. Okay, so got the drone name. We got the custom settings done. Now we will jog the aircraft. So once we'll jog the aircraft and ensure it works, we'll do a IMU compass calibration, and then I'll come back and we will box it back up. So we're gonna do a quick test takeoff. Okay, successful. Now we're going to do a weight, and we haven't installed our propellers yet. They're going to add roughly 2 grams of weight, just because I did this on my last install. So I feel comfortable stating that. So now it is indeed off. We're going to get our scale. And why this is important is whenever you alter an aircraft in any way, shape, or form, you're going to want to ensure the AKA recertification process is in effect. So right now we're at 141.48. When I get the props on and when I get the cushions around the outside, I will indeed weigh it again and get another weight. But as of right now, our flying pizza on the air of caution, I'm going to say weighs 145 grams. So we've added 10 grams of weight with the aluminum structure and with the prop guards we're going to be putting on. So as you can see, we're going to print out 145 grams. Because after I put the propellers on, as mentioned, it will add 2 grams worth of weight, and I added a slight buffer of compensation value. So I normally put the sticker right here because, anyways, I'm going to just put the sticker somewhere on the airframe. I'm actually going to make it smaller so it's less pronounced. Bam. Okay. So you may be saying this is a lot of stickers. Yes, but at least somebody will know how to fly it. So with that being said, I'm going to ensure the batteries are fully powered, labeled. I'm going to put the air screws on, and then we will rebox. I did look, and the foam protectors are going to be about a day away. So in the meantime, I'll just show the reboxing procedure, and then I'll allow the customer to take the drone out and put the bumpers on if they see fit. The bumpers will not fit in the package factory. So with that being said, I'm going to turn off the video and I'm going to work on the battery charging, the calibration sequences, the prop installation, and then I'll be back with you to rebox for the customer. Well, I'm happy to announce we are back, and we are back with the Flying Pizza. And the Flying Pizza now has its batteries fully charged, and we're ready to reassemble to go back in. I was able to find some prop guard bumpers that were a little narrower, so I think that's a plus. The other footprints were significantly wider. So this is what our Flying Pizza looks like. It needs to be able to withstand small amounts of wind, but mainly here is features to keep it safe and stability. So that's why we got good props on here. That's why we put the guards on here. And then we installed the upgraded camera protection, just in case it were to hit an object, there would be no damage to the gimbal. They're going to be filming in a low light environment, so there's not going to be the protection guard on. So there's some things to take into consideration whenever you do any sort of modification. So now we have it almost finished. What we need to do now is weigh it out, and what we're going to do is put the original factory battery on it, and we need to ensure that our modifications didn't modify the drone to make it incompatible with its weight class, which is under 249 grams. So after these 3 features, and battery, so this is the entire package that will be departing and landing every single time. There will be no piece of it that acts independent. So we're gonna comfortably overshoot by a couple grams just to be on the safe side, and we're going to say 155 grams. We're at 152, but like I mentioned, we're going to overshoot. So now with the dyno, we're gonna temp it in now, and we're gonna dial it in at 155 grams. So we added 10 grams when we added the prop guards. So now I'm gonna, if you see the 145 grams prior to the prop guards, I'm gonna change that out. So we will remove that sticker. Grab the new guy. Look for our scissor. And then once we have our scissor, then we're gonna cut this out and then we will install it on the drone. So I will look forward to seeing you here shortly. Hey guys, we're back. Well, I wanted to show you the final product before we get ready to box it back up and get ready for the final use. So as you can see here, I've added the gimbal protector, we have the bumper guards, and then we have a fun propeller design. I had to acquire 2 propeller kits for this, and I did have another Neo around, so I was able to use those other propellers. So with that being said, I think the design turned out really nice. As you can see, we have our website on the side, and then we also have the new updated flight weight. So without any modifications, this comes in right around 130 grams. When we start adding the upgraded props, we'll add a couple grams. When we add the edge protectors, we added 10 grams. And then we added the gimbal protector as well. So now we're sitting right at 152 point-ish grams. I'm a person that wants to err on the side of caution, so I comfortably said 155 grams is its new weight. So I did calibrate the scale. There's multiple ways to do that. I'm not going to go into that. But we're going to put the drone on the scale. As hopefully you can see that. It's at 153.4. So by stating that it's 155, I feel fairly confident, unless it gets covered in some sort of thickened powder, that it's going to remain under that 155 gram weight index. And this is truly how it's intended to fly. So there's no more upgrades, modifications, and or adjustments that will be made. This is the flight platform. So as we discussed before, we assembled, we ensured that we activated it, and now we're ready to box up. So we have our 3 battery kit. I also want to make mention that it's always wise to label your items. So 30 minutes per battery per charge, and then I have the name of the drone on here. And then on the box itself, I have indications that the iOS Fly app, I have the name of the product, I have the Wi-Fi identification, I have our website name for anything else you may need. So without further ado, this is the props that were factory swap outs. We used master air screws on this, great product. So we're gonna take the original factory bag that we got this drone in and go and reinsert. If we couldn't get this to go in successfully, 100% we could just get another clear plastic bag and provide that. However, I think from an opening and unboxing standpoint, it's best to reuse the packaging provided. So this is a opened and activated unit. So as I discussed before, we have our identifier stickers. I'm going to put one on the bag itself, and this goes directly over the seal. And then the second one I'm going to put on the box after I reapplicate the tamper evident seal. So with that being said, let's go ahead and get these batteries packaged up. Then we're going to go to our original factory boxes. So insert there we go. When in doubt, don't force it. So there's actually enough room in here. I'm going to throw the props. And this is nice too, just in case you need another pair of props. It does come with the 2 propellers, however, we have an extra 4 kit here. It is nice with the Neo, the fact that it's a lot more resilient, and the prop guards are fully in place, so the likelihoods of changing out propellers are going to go down far less. However, if you get a bug or something caught in there, you're definitely going to want to change those out. Box back up, and then we'll insert this right. Let's see, where did it go in the packaging cycle of this? We're going to have a little doming due to that gimbal guard, but now we're going to go back to our board and we're going to remove our factory scoop. Want to order a drone from us? We're here to help. This is the Neo boxing activation rebox. Now it's ready to go to the customer. Guys, have a great day.